for like the third time, and every single time he limped, I raised, and he folded every time, and I actually had a good hand every time I raised there.
Yeah.
And then I knew he was planning on like limping and then going all in when I raised, and I did it again, but I happened to have a hand again. I had pocket sevens and he had king queen. Flop came jack 10 4 or something, and I had pocket sevens, so he had a lot of outs, and he hit the nut straight on the river. So
Unreal.
Forget about the money for a second if you can. Think about names like Noel Furlong, Jimmy Langan, Colette Doherty. Parg, what does it mean right now for Marty Smith and Roland DeWolf to try and win that trophy?
Probably a lot more to Marty Smith than it does to Roland DeWolf, because Marty's one of our own, and to win your own national title, especially with this kind of money involved, it's huge.
Well, speaking of the money, there's over 300,000 euros difference between first and second. And from what we saw with those stats, obviously Roland DeWolf with a slight chip lead, 4 million to 3 million. Besides that, what do you think's in it as far as styles of play goes?
Well, DeWolf is definitely the more aggressive player. I mean, Marty's got a tough job now. He's playing a very aggressive player. He's also got to try to get that last hand out of his mind. You know, he could have been the guy that knocked Mitzi out there and be a good chip leader, but he allowed DeWolf to get into that pot and dog him. But
well, Roland has limped here with a big ace, and they both got a pair. Roland with the kicker. It's gone check, check, and DeWolf may just eat Smith for dinner.
150 is the bet.
Well, DeWolf has been showing an awful lot of respect for Smith's bets. I'm sure that hasn't been lost on Smith. Smith can maybe use that against DeWolf. You know, if Marty Smith wants to start bluffing, now it's a pretty good time to start.
Anything but a 7.
I'm not talking about this pot in particular. This one was never going to get too big, but Marty's going to have to change to a different gear if he wants to mess around with DeWolf.
2 9s with an ace. I get the feeling that DeWolf is quite content to sort of get deep into pots before the big decisions are made, Parg.
Sure, well, DeWolf is planning on winning 2 out of every 3 pots here.
Parg, you don't get much chance to play heads up unless you've gotten to this stage of a tournament before. I mean, what is the strategy to heads up play?
Run all over the guy. You know, but it is a bit of a problem these days because the fields are so big that people don't get involved in the short-handed situations as often as they used to like 10 or 15 years ago.
The small buttons on the small blinds on the button. That's what happened here. DeWolf limped in. They've gone check, check. The turn card has come, and with 2 6s and a flush draw, Marty takes it down. We were talking about Terry Rogers before, the bookmaker. He used to always run a book. Didn't he always put in a false favorite to get guys over? There was some story about famous Seamus, wasn't there?
Yeah, you know, Terry used to make he put in a false favorite just and put an ad in the English racing papers.
DeWolf's got aces and he's limped on the button.
The Wolf has picked up aces, kings, and ace kings. He's facing about 6 hands. I mean, there are some guys who'd be open to pick up those 3 hands in a week.
It's killing him that he can't tell Marty. You know he wants to tell somebody. Well, here's Marty on the button. And DeWolf has won the last 3 pots in a row, Parg, with the kings, the aces, and the ace king. And, isn't Marty going to start thinking he's getting run over?
Yeah.
Raise. 700,000. 700,000.
Yeah.
And he's got ace jack now.
There are players who just get fed up with this, see a king in their hand and think, well, this is a pretty good hand, but there's only 2 of us playing and make a move on DeWolf. I wouldn't blame Smith for trying to re-raise one of DeWolf's raise and get back all the chips in one go. But there's absolutely no way Marty Smith can know that the Wolf is picking up the card he's picking up, because it's almost mathematically impossible.
It's turning into a massacre here. It's just one-way traffic right now.
Yours.
And one big flash in
How much?
Will be even again?
Yeah. But, you know, Marty desperately needs to start picking up a couple of even small pots now, just to build his stack up a little bit. So sort of the danger is if this bleeding continues, and it's not Marty Smith's fault that he's bleeding at the moment, that by the time a big clash does come, if Marty does double up, that he'll still be behind.
You know, De Wolf was one of the favorites for this tournament before it even started. Sponsors had him in at 80 to 1. That was looking like a very good price right now.
Check.
Oh. Now, Marty, that's the way to do it.
Check.
Oh my God.
250. 250 is the bet.
Well, this is the first time, Pard, that Marty has managed to get called with a good hand, although a 4, 3, or 5 will change things, and I'm nearly amazed it didn't come.
You're not as nearly amazed as I am.
This could be the comeback. Kenny, how much does he need to bet to get paid?
500.
$500,000 is a bet.
Possibly a little less than that, but then again, he's not to know. That, even though the Wolf had a second pair on the flop with the 4, the 3 isn't the kind of kicker you'd like to be writing home about. The Wolf, all the Wolf can really beat here is a bluff.
But the check on the flop was pretty clever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The grounds not to know if they weren't rolling to call or not.
Mr. Wilson.
Marty's going to try and give nothing away. And Roland's going to wait for a sign.
You know, the Wolf is wondering if Smith has picked up that
Fold.
that he's going to be able to get away with a little bit of larceny if he tries.
I can't tell you what it wasn't bluff.
He's taking him at his word there. Pretty good decision.
What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Could be in play here because Smith is not budging much, and the Wolf is nipping at his heels like a little terrier. And there hasn't really been that much traction given up since they started playing.
Well, certainly the Wolf has had the best of the cards. So Smith's shown a lot of patience.
Rolling with the reverse here. And now he's induced a bluff from Marty Smith.